Welcome to day 516 of our Web3 journey. I'm Ed Krasenstein, here with my twin brother Brian. And remember, these videos are being sponsored by NFT Tech. They are an investor in the Web3 mobile app DeSoFi. So, Brian, let's talk crypto. What's on your mind?
Yeah, so there was a survey conducted by study.com, which is an online educational platform, and it asked parents as well as college graduates if they believe crypto should be taught in schools across the nation here in the United States. And 64% of parents who were crypto literate, meaning they had some knowledge about the crypto blockchain space, said that yes, they should teach crypto and blockchain in schools. So 64%. Now, 67% of college graduates, so these didn't have to be parents, just general college graduates, they said that crypto should be taught in schools as well. Um, it's interesting that it's blockchain versed. So they asked blockchain versed parents this. So I'm sure it'd be a little bit different, probably closer to 50% if they weren't blockchain versed, maybe even less. Blockchain versed, obviously, if you're blockchain versed, you probably have more of a positive attitude toward blockchain, most likely. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, they also asked these same people, same parents, whether NFTs and metaverse should be taught within the schools. And 40% of them said yes. So 40% for metaverse and NFTs, 64% for blockchain slash crypto. It's interesting. Uh, I, I, I would say yes. I'd say we should be teaching our kids to prepare them for the future. And I have no doubt that blockchain is going to be a major part of the future. I also think NFTs and metaverse will be too. But I do think blockchain is the underlying technology for much of everything else. Maybe not metaverse, it depends. But I definitely think it should be. I think that personal finance should also be taught. I know a lot of schools aren't teaching personal finance, and that's why so many Americans get into financial trouble, I think, is because they're not financially literate. So crypto, blockchain, yes, I would say.
So, I wonder what blockchain versed is defined as. I wonder if it means people who have bought Bitcoin. Does that make you blockchain versed, or is somebody who has a more in-depth knowledge of blockchain and cryptocurrency?
That's a good question. I didn't get into the nitty gritty and all of the whole study, but I assume that it means that you have some knowledge of blockchain technology and how it works.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it should be in schools, starting probably in middle school, I'd say.
Yeah. So what's
Hey,
going on with DISO?
yeah, moving on to the DeSo blockchain. Yesterday, the DAO team held an AMA with their new partner, Cleoverse. Oh, it was a Twitter Spaces AMA. Erica Ishaniz was there with the creator of Cleoverse. Cleoverse is a DAO working platform that is focused on helping DAOs build task-related bounty programs to engage and reward contributors. I had a chance to go in there for a little bit. I didn't have a chance to stay for the whole thing. It's interesting what they're doing. I didn't get all the details of how this partnership is going to work with DAO and work with DeSo, but they do say that the it's going to allow DAO creators on DAO to sort of find the best Web3 talent and then coordinate tasks for them in minutes. So I want to hear more about this. I hope they post more on chain about this. Like I said, I didn't have time to listen to the whole Twitter Spaces, but I like how they're forming partnerships. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, and I look forward to DISO in general doing the same as we move forward because partnerships, I feel, are the key to online adoption of DISO. And the best way to get people and retain them is to give them options. And the best way to get options is you partner with other companies, other projects, other platforms to integrate DISO into them.
Yeah, definitely. And moving on, Entre, yesterday they have launched their blog. This is something that we knew was coming. It has officially been launched. Here at their new blog, you're going to be able to get access to all the latest information, education on tech and Web3. they're looking for contributors. So if you're interested in contributing to the Entre blog, send a DM to Michael Mara on Entre or on DSO.
Love what they're doing. I love that they have this blog, and I love that users are able to contribute to it. So if you are a good writer, if you think you have something to offer, definitely contact Michael and let him know.
Yeah.
So the social world, they're back at it with their post to earn. And of course, it's sponsored by SEALs. They're giving away a lot of DSO, a lot of USD, because these people used the social world and posted with the social world. And I'm just going to go down the list. These are the winners of the last week. Uh, Most points, they have a point system that they use based on engagement of one's post and how many posts are made through the Social World platform. And we were number one. We got $10 in DSO. That $10, it could be worth $1,000 down the road, maybe even
You never
more,
know.
right?
You never know.
Michelle Lord was number two, followed by Stargazer, Lil Lover, Randier, Clout Women Unite, John Jordan, and Ben Ursing. And the amount of money they get, which you'll see on the screen, is just starts at 10 with us and goes down $1 for each one, all the way down to Ben Ursing, who got $3.
Congratulations. I love what the social world's doing, and thanks to Seals for sponsoring it. So Nader yesterday, or I guess it was late last night or early this morning, made a long post thread about DSO, and he said, currently it feels like DSO is roughly where Solana was back in December of 2020, with a market capital of about $70 million. Um, he said there needs to be a catalyst though. Like Solana had Ethereum's increasing gas prices to kind of bring people onto Solana as their catalyst. He surmises that mass censorship on social media might be that catalyst that brings people over to DSO. He said that new social media pops up all the time, like Truth Social, and they had like these ideas of kind of becoming like the future of social media, but in the long run they end up banning and censoring people just like the rest of the web 2 social media websites, and we've seen that with Truth Social actually. He said we need more away from content owned by corporations. We need to move more away from this type of content and more toward content that's owned by users who actually produce it. And he said while there's 200 characters on the Ethereum blockchain will cost you $100, and on Solana it costs you about 25 cents or so. DeSA can actually store your post for a 1/10,000th of a penny, which is really extraordinary in comparison. The entire thread, you can check that out. It's linked to above this video on DSO, below it on YouTube. It's really interesting. There's a lot of interesting conversation that took place there. Check it out.
Yeah, I just want to touch on a few of the things he said. And I think number one, I'd be curious to see how much that 200 character post would cost on Ethereum once the merge update takes place next month. Is that going to lower cost substantially? I know they have plans for like secondary layers and all of that. I don't think it would come close to as cheap as DSO, but I would be interested to see how much it would be once the
Me
merge
too.
is complete. Also, he said that he thinks mass censorship on social media will be the catalyst for DSO. I don't know if I agree with that, just because I feel that not enough people are being censored. There are people being censored, and those people are getting mad. But I don't. It's not everybody. And sure, yeah, somebody like former President Trump may have been blocked or censored, banned, and that really pissed off a lot of people. But I don't know if that's enough. I think that what DSO has that can really take away from Twitter and Facebook is the ability to earn, the ability to kind of own your data. And I think those things, once they're realized and once people start earning more money on DSO because more people come here, I think it's going to have like a snowball effect. And I feel that that's what's going to drive people here. Along with, there's some interesting things happening with Twitter and Facebook, especially Twitter, especially these last few days, is that a whistleblower came forward and is questioning some of the practices of Twitter. I think if enough people just get angry at the corporate control of these social media platforms, I think that's enough to say, hey, I want to go to an independent place where I own my data. None of these corporations can take advantage of my data. None of these corporations can decide on what my data is used for. And I just think that anger towards Twitter and Facebook, and I see a lot of it, is going to drive that shift to Web3 and to DeSo.
Yeah, I agree. I think, I don't know if censorship is going to be the ultimate thing that brings the masses over to D. So I think I kind of agree with you. I don't think it will. I think it's going to be more like the ability to earn and the whole idea that is related to crypto and Web3, the idea of Web3 and the blockchain in general. But as we hear this, that we hear that DeSo allows you to own your data a lot. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with that being the best way of putting it, because when you post your information, when you make a post on the DeSo blockchain, you can't delete it, right?
Yeah,
So
you
if you
can just
owned
hide
it,
it.
wouldn't you technically be able to delete it? And if you owned it, wouldn't you technically be able to say which nodes you want that information to be displayed on? Like, I don't think we technically own our data. The data is owned by the blockchain, right?
Yeah, I like describing it as the data becomes a faucet that anybody can tap into rather than an asset for corporations. So Facebook and Twitter don't own your data anymore, but the community, the
Well,
blockchain
they
owns it.
do.
And
Facebook and Twitter do own your data in the Web2 world.
yeah, and no, that's what I'm saying anymore. So once you move to Web3, you're getting away from the corporate ownership of your data. Your data is not an asset to Twitter, isn't an asset to Facebook anymore. It's basically an asset to a decentralized platform, which means basically it's a faucet of free information that can be taken, pushed and pulled however it wants. So I think that's probably the better way of explaining
I'd
it.
say nobody owns the data instead of corporations owning the data.
It becomes like a utility.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's get on to the top NFT bidders over the last 24 hours. These people have bid on the most NFTs on DeSo in the last day. And number one was Nigel's, followed by Juice, George T, Studio Richards, Brian Drever, La Big Mac, Shady Acres, Jeremy G, Spunk Art, and Diamond VC. No meta philosopher up there today, but he's been up there, or he or she has been up there quite a bit over the last few weeks. Moving on to the top diamond creators over the last 24 hours, according to our friends at Altum Base, these people got the most diamond tips on their post on DeSo, and they are as follows. Octoposse had an amazing rollout of their minting for their season 3.
580 NFTs have been minted so far when I checked this morning.
That is impressive for sure. Spunk Art was number 2, followed by Michelle Lord, Now and Then, Miami, Japan, Krasenstein Us, M. Her, Sandy Rose, Shady Acres, and Nader himself.
Congratulations. And moving on to today's events, thanks to Miss Katie Ann, who supplies us with this list every morning. 10 a.m. Eastern Time is a Vibe Hut video co-working with one Dolinsky. Definitely check that out. Vibe Hut's doing some amazing things. I love their new features. At 11 a.m. Eastern Time, there's a roundtable town hall, community builders and Web3 careers space. The roundtable space is currently hiring. This is Mario Nawfal's Twitter Spaces room. Definitely check it out. Mario's doing amazing things in the whole Web3 world. At
Well, and
1:30,
Nader is going to be there if I'm correct.
that's what we heard, but I don't know. I haven't heard anything else about that, so I don't know if he still
Interesting.
is. I guess you just got to attend at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Check out Miss Katie Ann's page and get the link and check it out at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. At 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Web3 Wednesdays with Caleb and Shantron on Entre. At 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Tech and Web3 Legal Office Hours on Entre with Francesca Witzberg, Shantron, Michael Mara, like I said, on Entre. And then at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Women in Web3s on Entre with Kathleen Francois. And at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Web3 Weekly Digest on Entre. So lots of Entre stuff going on today.
Yeah, definitely check all those out if you can, if you have time.
And that's all the news we have for today. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and we will talk to you tomorrow.